Alright, so here is a challenge problem. And I'll just give you this contact information really fast. When you come across an answer, send it here. Quentin Lenti, all one word, that's an @ symbol, gmail.com. Or comment it below on this video. And I will feature your responses in, well, once I get a few responses, I'll feature it in the next video. So that's the only thing. So here's the problem to solve. So first, here's the situation. And that is, you are writing a comic book. And I imagine most people watching these are not comic book writers, but assume you are when you're solving this. Alright? You care about how much ink it takes to produce each book. You care about how long it would take you to write up each one by hand. You'd care about all these variables. And so here's the problem though. In your book, you reach the end, and on the last page, your hero wins, and your villain realizes, whoa, I'll be trapped here forever. So he's on his knees, and he just can't die. He's one of those villains. But he realized he's gonna be trapped here forever. So know what he does? He shouts, top of his lungs, endlessly. Let's put it right here. No, he shouts no. Just constantly. Forever. Because he has all his life to spend in this prison or whatever. You can decide those things. So, the question here, though, is you're the writer. You don't care too much about this villain. I mean, you do as a plot. But the problem is, though, you don't know. You want this no to be forever, but okay. So if you write no forever, though, know what happens? No, what happens? Goes off the page. And that's the problem. And if you just shorten it like no, then that's not good either. Going off the page, you'll have to assume that goes off, but that's not very good. And make it finite, then he's not screwing forever. He's just screwing for the time it takes to say no with 4 O's. So then you remember something from infinite this infinite series thing. And you remember this, that ax to the I, and I could be 0 or 1, going to infinity. As long as x is less than, well, greater than -1, I'm not sure why you do that, or less than 1, as long as these are true, as long as this change between things, yeah, this is geometric series, as long as the change between things approaches 0, it's between this range, then you'll have a finite distance, a finite measurement. So you realize this, and you're like, I could have this going forever, but there's a few problems. I have to make sure, I have to know how long will it be. I want to fit on my page, so I need to know like the total length of this. Now the n will always be there. You'll always have this n. You can decide how that will be, its measurements. But you need to make the circle smaller and getting closer and closer together, so eventually it converges. Well, no, it would converge from the get-go. Alright, and so you need to find this length. That is the first question. How long will it be? And to help you out with this problem, even though it doesn't matter huge, whatever you decide the height of n to be, let's say 2x, this O will be a value of x tall. You can use that to calculate radii, yes. and see if that helps you. All right, you can decide whatever X is going to be. Just make sure it's like paper size. Otherwise, this problem would be unreasonable. All right, so that's the first question. Then you realized, okay, so if I have that covered, I'm going to make a bunch of these comic books depending on how popular they are. So here's my next problem. How much ink just to write this no? All right. So you think like, okay, ink might not be a big factor until you have a bunch of these. So you want to at least know the ink. It doesn't matter how much ink you use as long as it's a reasonable amount. And let's just define amount of ink. Let's say a centimeter squared of area of ink. You could do in Sharpie, I don't know. Let's just give that a measurement. Let's say it's about, is milligram a measurement? I'm pretty sure it is. It won't be that much. I need something reasonable here. So let's say 1 centimeter. How about 100 centimeters? Yeah, let's say 100 centimeters squared is 1 gram of ink. Now, a gram of ink can go a long way, so I think that sounds reasonable. So if you have 100 centimeters squared of area covered, that'd be 1 gram. You can convert, see if that helps you. That's my only requirement for this ink problem. You just need to find out how much ink it will be. It might not be that much, but once you have enough books, it might be a factor that you need to care about. And then one that directly affects you is how long will it take to write? You're writing all these, so you don't want to take forever on each time. Well, I mean, if you took forever on just one time. Sorry. How long will it take to write? That's a 2. So you want to know how much time it is. So you have to make some decisions when you answer all these. Your first decision would be like this X value. Your second decision would be this spacing. How much smaller does the space get each time? It can't be a constant space, otherwise this would not get smaller. All right, so you need to decide how much smaller it gets. And so that's for your first decision. Your second decision, how much ink, you'll probably have to calculate the area of each of these. Now, n is luckily, you can divide it up in 3 shapes. It's two rectangles with the same kind of measurements, and then you have that would be a parallelogram right in the middle, so you could calculate that. I'm just giving you hints to get going. And then these are just circles with circles cut out of them, so however you want to calculate that. That's for ink, and it'll also be time to write problem. So you only need 2 factors to decide for the time to write problem. You decide how much does it take to cover a distance when you're switching letters, and how much time does it take to cover a certain area in ink. So those are your 2 factors. So send me your responses to this and get creative with it. Really, you can decide so many things. Just make sure it fits within a paper length, and try not to use like over a gram of ink because that'd be ridiculous. All right, have at it.